lights, cameras, action. Now let's engage in the dialogue. Let me browse through your mind like a catalog. Conscious metaphysics, allow me to break down the specifics. Educate, motivate. If you don't feel free, you can liberate. An LLC is what I'm building, the #1 podcast in the building. So let me slide on up in the Bentley truck in my Versace shirts. They can't get enough of this deep conversation, expansion, elevation. I'll send you a link you can tap in. It ain't quite what I used to do back then. Now I get it on the front and the back end. Multiple money streams keep coming in. Enlighten, empower, evolve. Enlighten, empower, evolve.
Greetings, everyone. I'm Luke Bryan Smith, and welcome to Enlightened, Empowered, Evolved. I believe everyone's doing well and everything is unfolding perfectly. I'm excited yet again because I have another amazing. I'm always excited to talk to people from around the world, and sometimes I get ahead of myself. But before I introduce her, let me say a few things. So, who I have here today is a world traveler. I mean, just so much here. World traveler who has lived in many locations, such as Israel, Germany, London, Ghana, and here in the U.S. She teaches urban agriculture to anyone who wants to grow their own food. That's amazing. That resonates with me. And just so much more. But without further ado, I'd like to introduce to you today, Trina Hert. Thank you, Trina. How are you doing today?
I am just excited to be with you, and thank you for having me. Thank you for the invitation. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Yes. So you know what? I want to go, like you said, with the flow. And
Mhm.
let's get right into what we were already talking about. And like I said, there's times that I feel that I kind of shy away from that conversation, especially if I'm speaking with somebody. But we were talking about, okay, let's just hit it right on the head for where it is. I read
Yeah.
that you moved away from Christianity. Give us a little breakdown as to why that was, the religion Christianity, and why'd you move away from that?
Well, for me, number one, I didn't grow up Christian. It
Okay,
wasn't really introduced to me until I was about 16 years old, to be exact.
right.
My mother was a very, very Dr. Dorley Love. Um, may she rest in peace. Was a free spirit. And then suddenly, when she reached a certain age, she took us to church. And I come from a singing, very, very talented family. And then all of a sudden, we were forced to sing all these gospel songs. And uh, uh, I never understood this hopping and dancing around the church, not to make fun, but I didn't understand what all of this stuff was about. Um, so it made me research at about 16 or 17 years old. And as I began researching this Bible, which had been in our house for many years, I never thought to even look at it. I started finding holes almost immediately in the story. And I'm a researcher by nature alone. I want to find out, I need to see for myself. And even though I found those holes and I was asking questions, but back in those days, it was, you don't question God.
Right,
You just
right, right.
do
If
as
I
you're
may interject,
told.
if I may
Sure.
interject just for 1 second, and I might do this, and I'm not trying to be rude. It's just that you sparked
Hmm.
something, and I want to share that thought before I lose. And please don't lose your place. But
Hmm.
that's why I believe it's amazing how uh, there's no coincidences. I believe that now, and just from you just sharing that small segment of the story that resonates with me because I, unlike you, I grew up in a religious family, Baptist and Christian, and
Mm.
but there were some things within inside of me. I was being made to feel like that the devil must be um, tapping me on my shoulder for me to want to ask questions. And I believe that we were created by whoever you want to say, you know, who it is, God, universe, whatever, okay, spirit, to be creators and to question things. And I always knew that, okay, this book that I'm not supposed to be questioning, I would go to, okay, well, who wrote this? Oh, well, God wrote it. So God dropped this out of the sky, huh? Okay. Okay. So that's where my first question was. So yeah, go ahead. So I'm just letting you know, uh, up
That you're
until
with me.
now, yeah, I'm
We all
feeling
in this.
exactly what you're saying. And you can imagine what I went through, but this story isn't about me. Today we're highlighting you. So go ahead. I just wanted to share that with you. That's all.
Sure. And thank you. I
Yeah.
appreciate the support in the conversation, actually.
Right.
Um, I just, like you just said, God and the devil. My first question was to the pastor, if God created this whole entire world and the universe and everything within, why did he, quote unquote, choose to create an entity that could rival him?
Right.
This devil thing. Why did God summon different tribes in the Bible to go out to murder, rape, and kill people? These things just did not sit well with me. Even at that age, it didn't. I didn't believe it.
Right.
And so, but I sang with my family anyway. I did as mother instructed me to do, because back in those days, you just did what mama said to do, and that was the end of.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
End
Unless you
of,
wanted to feel some pain. And I mean,
and,
not
and
just
be
emotional pain.
ostracized in the worst way.
Right, right. No, we get it. No, I
Yeah,
definitely get it because I grew up in the '70s, so I know. You better not question what mom said.
me too.
Or
I'm not ashamed to say it. I'm 58,
oh
and
wow, you look great,
yeah.
absolutely great.
Oh,
Yeah,
thank you
I'll be
so much.
52 this year, so yeah,
So we
yeah,
get
we
that
get it. Yeah,
strict discipline code. You
right.
you go cut your own switch.
Oh yeah. No, mine was more belt.
Okay,
Belt. There's a
okay,
belt that I despise. I can picture with the way it looked. Skinny, brown. Yeah. Go get it. I
that's
had to
strap.
get my own weapon that was going to be used against me.
I call them weapons of mass destruction
Oh yeah. Yeah. They
because
were
it destroyed so many young people and no one understood at that
oh
time.
yeah.
But that's
Physically
another
and mentally.
story.
Yeah, that's another story.
Yeah,
You're right.
that's another story. But I kept that privately to myself, that I didn't believe it for many, many years. Got married, had 3 children, and quietly, I did not force religion on my children. I was scared to speak up. I was scared to say anything, even into my adulthood. I followed mama's instructions, did as what mama said. I was just scared. But come 1995, I was like, enough is enough. My first husband had passed, and I had to make a choice. It was Christmas that broke the camel's back, literally, because I was like, I'm broke. It's Christmas time. Um, I can't make this happen anymore. I can't play this game anymore. So I sat my children down and I said, hey, it's a struggle now.
Right.
I'm by myself, and I'm already working 3 jobs. Christmas is an additional burden that mama just can't do no more. And they really shocked me, because they said, good. We'd rather have you at home anyway. It is we don't, we don't even believe in Christmas. We always knew it was you. So
Right. Yes,
yeah,
yes. I got that same feedback from my daughter. So yeah.
yeah. And so I said, and we're not gonna. You guys don't have to go to church with grandma anymore if you don't want to.
Right.
You don't have to do any of that. We're gonna break free now. We're gonna be totally different than the rest of our family. My uncle was a minister. My mother, minister of music. Um, we're going to be totally different, and we're not going to walk that path anymore. And I told them, and they were like, well, we never believed in it anyway, and we knew you didn't.
Right. No,
And
they could
so,
feel that energy, that whatever vibe you were putting out, they picked up on it.
right.
There's and excuse me again, but there's communication that we use with words, but a lot of times it's in between those words that even speaks louder. So you can say something to your children, and especially when children are younger, they're more sensitive to the energies and stuff like that until we indoctrinate them with other things that kind of like suppresses those intuitive
Right.
gifts. So they felt
Hmm.
that you really didn't believe, even though you might have been telling them this or going along with that pattern. They could feel it, and
They knew.
they knew it.
And
They knew
you're
it.
right about that, because my daughter, even at the age that she was in this time frame, she
Right.
said, I heard what you said, but we really heard what you did say.
Right. Yes, and that was the vibe that they were picking up, the intuition, their spirit picking up. That's my perspective. They was picking up the energy. Like, no, this something
And
don't
they knew I
feel right.
wasn't happy with doing that stuff. They knew I didn't
Right.
feel good about it. And come to find out, they hated Christmas more than I did.
Right. 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 Yeah. And just to add a bit more, and I know you haven't went into super details, but
Hmm.
I had gotten into a point where I had been studying, started to study, this was years ago, even the history of African people, and just knowing the little bit that I did. And when I say study, I don't just look at one thing and say, okay, this guy says it, because there's a lot of research out there that
You have to do
people
the work.
yes, because people can put things in such an intelligent way and make it seem like the truth. But no,
Right.
okay, I'm gonna get a second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh opinion and see if I start seeing a common narrative, or I'm seeing, and then at the same time, you follow my intuition as well. Now this feels empowering to me. This feels disempowering to me. But my question was, even a long time ago, was okay, if uh, this was supposed to be religion, Christianity is supposed to be the only religion and the one that I'm supposed to follow. How come uh, our people didn't get this until we were enslaved by
Thank
our
you.
oppressors? And I said, why? Oh, no, no,
And why did
and I
it have to be
never,
beaten into us?
yeah, and what, yeah. So then I start finding out things that, oh, okay, by being indoctrinated with this helped us to be more docile and believe if we submit and not uh, rebel and things like that, we'll get our rewards later. So then I start seeing a common narrative as how this played uh, within our minds, and why,
Yes.
yes, and why even today, why churches get a pass on like taxes and things like that. They want that there to help control. But I don't even want to get too deep into that. But that was my question. Like, okay, if we didn't, mom, we were over here, or dad, we were over here, Africa, we, as tribes, we didn't have any
Thank you.
Bibles. Yeah, so we didn't have that until we were packed on a ship, brought here, and then they brought this and forced us to do this. So, and then I would say another thing, and I said this a long time ago. I said, so we hate everything they did to us,
Uh-huh.
our oppressors did to
Yes.
us, except this. We'll keep this though,
Yeah.
but everything else was wrong. That doesn't
Yes.
make sense to me.
No,
So
well, help, and you really tapped in with that, with what you just said. None of the we hate them for
right,
what they did,
right,
but why do we cling to this?
right,
You know, you really that hit a home run, because that was one of my same questions.
right. But
Um,
I believe, oh, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
no, no, no. Go ahead,
No, I just
please.
believe it was just so indoctrinated into our psyche that we just couldn't see as a whole. And I say we, black people, African people, it just scared us to think of any other thing. And we connected our identity to it so much that
Yes, our
that
identity, that we thought it made us better.
thought it made us who we were. Anything that spoke against
Yes.
that indoctrination, we labeled it as evil. So then when you
Hmm.
question it, it's evil. When you come with different perspectives, oh, it's evil because it's speaking against this. And that led me to say, okay, what the point was that they were trying to do to us, it worked. And it's still working. But what I do like is that nowadays it's, because of like the internet, we're able to connect and find more information. People are waking up and being able to at least decipher for themselves and find more information on
And
things
research and
and
think. It's
research.
easier to research than it was back then.
Right
Much
then, back
easier
then.
now.
And so now
No.
I pride myself on being a person that thinks for himself. I'm not going to just,
Hmm.
and I want to be empowered. I don't want to be involved in anything that makes me just constantly feel fear. Even it makes me cringe a little bit when people say, "Oh, I'm, God fearing and all that." Hold on a minute. Aren't you supposed to be a child of this, your God, right? So
Hmm.
what would you have to be
Why do
scared of?
you have to be so
Why do you have,
afraid of your God if you're,
yeah, yeah. hmm
you know,
So
the
it's a
two
lot of
don't
things.
go.
It's a lot of things.
They just don't
Yeah.
go.
So that's amazing. So we touched on that, and give us a little insight also as well, unless you have some more to say about that.
Well, no. I was just going to say, and actually, I was just going to say, fast forward from there.
Okay, yeah,
By
go ahead. I cut you off. I'm sorry.
I was looking for a way to get away from religion. I gone to university. I took my children with me.
Okay,
We studied things like the Sumerian tablets together. They were young and
right.
they were gathering this information at that time. They studied Egypt. They knew the real name of it was Kim.
Kemet, yeah,
They were reading the Epic of Gilgamesh with me. And those dates just didn't tie in with the Bible because they were like, well, the Bible says the earth is 6,000 years old, but these tablets here are the hundreds of thousands of years old. How does this tie in, Mom? So from there the questions continue, but we fast forwarded and became Hebrew Israelites. So
yeah.
we jumped from the fire, frying pan into the literal fire.
That's all right. That's part of your journey, though. I mean,
It's
and
part
that's
of the
that's
journey,
amazing.
yeah.
You can when you think about it, you can find some humor in that. But that's part of your journey.
Oh my God.
And the thing is, you're open, and you're open to learn. Some people are just, and I'm not criticizing. They're just here, and that's where they want to stay. You were
Mm-hmm.
actually actively researching and learning. Okay, and at that point in your journey, that's what resonated with you to go that way.
Right, because what they did was they kept the same Bible, which I identified with, but the thing was that they painted the people black.
Right, right,
So that gave me a black identity. So I thought, okay, this is the path, this is it. Um, you can see I'm a very powerful woman,
right, right.
not to be silenced. Always, if I'm respectable, if I'm respecting you, I expect the same back.
Absolutely.
That is not a part of Hebrew culture. The women are second class citizens, maybe third, fourth. Um, so I was shut down basically. So and then I also found them, and I say this because it's very, very true. They were oftentimes in support of child molesters. And I had to get out of that group immediately. I left that Hebrew Israelite group, but I decided the religion was good enough. And that religion is what took me to Israel.
Right. Yes, because you spent some time in Israel. That's right.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I spent a lot of time in Israel. There, I studied Kabbalah, the Zohar, a long list of religions, Zoroastrianism, a long list of religions. As I told you, I'm a researcher, former history teacher, and all these things. So when I got over there, there were more books and different things that were open to me at Yeshiva University, and I studied and worked hard there to learn more. Only to find out that they were lying about a lot of things too, and their information
Right.
will tell you that they're lying, but you have to go there to find out that
You
they
got to
were
go
lying
find it.
too.
Right. Right.
You have to go find it. They don't hide it from you, but if you find it, they do want you to hurry up and get out.
Right. Right. Right.
They
No.
separate from you once you get close to the truth.
Right. No, that's the same narrative I've gotten from the same story, and I won't say story, truth that I've gotten from a man that I love to listen to and follow in regards to like African history. His name is Anthony Brower, and he talked about a Set and a Sar, and yeah, just amazing, and how
Oh,
these stories that happen a long time ago. They were in different cultures, but they all followed the same narrative of a virgin and a son born on this. And it's like, wait, yeah. So
Yes.
yeah, if you ever get a chance, look him up. His name is Anthony Brower, BR.
Oh, no, no. He's
Oh,
one
you
of the
know him.
ones that I used to research with. Yes,
Oh,
sir.
okay. Yeah, yes. Love him.
Yes.
Yes, I love
I would not be, my mentality would not be where it is right now if he hadn't laid groundwork like he
okay.
has.
Okay. See, I should have
No.
already known that. I should have what am I doing saying if you know, you know, we
Oh,
know.
yes.
So
Oh,
that's
we're
amazing.
here.
Right. So you were in
In
Israel.
fact, when I lived in Israel, I reached out to rest his soul as well, Renoko Rashidi,
Okay. Right.
and he is a friend of Anthony Browder's. And Renoko had begun in teaching me about the true Hebrews. He laid down a lot of history, and I kept all of my notes. That was back in maybe 2011 or so. I kept all my notes. He told me a lot about the Berbers, a long list of
Nice.
information. This is all while I'm in Israel. So
Wow.
Israel was actually my family's awakening.
Right. Right.
Hardcore
Yes.
awakening, being in that area. And then my children, they had reached young adulthood while they were in Israel with me. So I said, I want to travel. Let's go. They said, no, we want to stay in Israel. We've got friends. My daughter had, and her then husband had come with us to Israel. Had begun their family. So I was like, okay, so y'all are cool. Stay here if you need money, holla. But I got to go travel.
Right.
And I started traveling around because it's very easy to get to other countries from Israel. Hop, skip, and a jump. Just across the Mediterranean is Europe.
Yes. Is that
You
when you
go,
went end
yeah.
up going to Germany?
I lived in Germany. That was an awesomely incredible experience because the Germans, as I found out, they sit back and wait for your instruction on how you want to be treated as a Black woman.
That's amazing.
And, and your behavior is the instruction.
Right.
I
Exactly.
honored myself, they honored me.
Right.
However I treated me, they gave it back to me triple fold. If I referred to myself as queen, so did they.
Oh, I like that.
So, as I found out throughout Europe, it's all up to you how you want to be treated. It was at that time it was completely different than what's in America.
Exactly. And let me elaborate a bit.
Mhm.
I've traveled somewhat extensively too, and
Mhm.
those that have traveled, they know the mindset that they get here in the U.S. And I can understand why, even historically, when I look at other people that were popular personalities, why they would go to other countries and go there. Different singers and actors and dancers and all that.
Yes.
Even the late Tina Turner, she ended up renouncing her citizenship in the U.S. and went to Switzerland, and she liked it much better. I read a little bit on it, not only in regards to like taxes, but she just the whole vibe. It was more.
Yes.
And you would think when you think about Switzerland, wait a minute, there's no African people. Hey, there's a mindset here that is cultivated intentionally, especially concentrated here in the US. And I believe that. And that's a whole different story, but you know that. But that's why I always encourage people, no matter what
Travel.
nationality, color, travel so you can get some perspectives and get out of your box. Because even when I go to work and I see certain groups of, white, black, or whatever, and I see how they are towards each other or how they look, I'm
Mhm.
like, they haven't been anywhere. They haven't been, and I don't look at myself like I'm better, but I just have a broader perspective. Like you,
Well, no,
you
what it
people,
does
you
is
guys don't even
allow
know.
you to it allows you your perspective, your broad perspective allows you to understand where they're at and how to communicate with them.
Right, right,
You know there's certain specific information you're not going to discuss with them.
Right.
And you bring your conversation and your discussions around to where their mindset is, and
Right.
you can read it almost immediately. Just like I do. You're
And
not going
and
to sit down and have a conversation about the Ankh.
no, and like I said,
No.
and see, I'm just gonna put it out there. Oftentimes, I have to dumb down my conversation, but I mean, because I can't talk about something.
You went there.
Yeah. I got to dumb down. I can't talk about something that's gonna cause you to grow
No.
consciously and spiritually with certain people, with a lot of people. So those aren't
Hmm.
who. Yeah, so that's you get that perspective, so you're able to adapt, just like even my conversation and how I how I articulate and project myself. I have, because I've traveled and been in different communities, I know how to adapt. So I know if I'm in
Yes.
with these type of people, I know I have to talk like this, because I don't want them to take me as uh threat or militant or whatever. So then I know how to do this, and then I'm around
Yes, we
these
curtail our
things.
conversations
Yes,
according to the audience that we are
audience,
entertaining.
and
Yes.
you and I know, with that, this goes without even me getting in detail. Certain people can't do that. They're just a certain way, and that's just it. They cannot. They're they're like this. The way they project themselves. Yeah, and
And
I've even
in the conscious community, it's the same thing. A lot
right,
of people in the conscious community don't have the benefit of travel either. So
right,
even their conversations are very closed and uninviting,
right,
to
right.
everyone, the so-called conscious community.
Right.
They don't know how to have conversations with people who don't have their mindset.
That's exactly right. And then that falls back into a religious thing to me, because then you're doing the same thing, because a lot of people that follow a certain religion, if you don't think like them, then you're automatically um the devil, or you're automatically outcast. So it's like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to become so-called awakened and then present myself that same way if you don't think like me. That's why I I
Precisely.
I I I said prior to this segment, you know, I don't talk down about anybody's religion or
And
beliefs.
and
If
and
they
my
have some,
goal is to
yeah, go on.
always leave space.
Leave
Leave
space.
space for
Exactly.
growth. Leave space for love. Leave space for them to have their journey in their path that I had.
Right,
You
right.
know,
That's
leave
a
space.
That's amazing. Yeah, we're down to about, I say, about 7 more minutes.
Oh,
Yes. I wanted to touch on. So you also lived in London and Ghana. That's amazing. But you also you teach. What really stood out to me is you teach people about agriculture, and the reason why that speaks to me so much is because lately I've been reading this book uh by Claude Anderson. It's called Powernomics, and he talked about
oh,
um
Clyde. Oh,
yeah
Andy,
yeah
I love him.
yeah he talked about growing your own vegetables, and
Yes.
if you get money invested into, like, even hydroponic, a factory to grow your own food. And I said, you know
I
what,
teach hydroponics as well. Claude Anderson
see, and
inspired me. He
I've
inspired
been
me.
telling
I
myself too
met
that
him in I met him in 2015 here in Kansas
right,
City,
see,
and
of
he
course you did.
inspired me as well.
Of course you did. Of course you did. That's no, and it doesn't shock me. Of course you met him. And I'm reading his book right now. And I've
Mhm.
had the book. I've had the book for a certain amount of years. I've just never read it. I've been reading so many other books, but I finally got to his. And I also have another book of his. I think it's called White Wealth, Black Labor, or something like that. But yeah,
Right.
it's
Uh-huh.
yeah.
Uh-huh.
But yeah. So can you elaborate just a bit on that? How you got into that? You know, uh,
Well, gardening was a love of my life as a child. Our
right,
family coming from the South, I'm shocked to our heritage.
right,
And our tribe is still in North Plain, Dillon, Louisiana, still holding on as best as we can. Black Indian. Hey,
right,
but we always grew our food. And my mother got away from it because grocery stores are more convenient. I jumped right in and
right,
went to the grocery store route. However, the information stayed with me for the rest of my life. But fast forward to 2020, that gave me the indication that everything is ready to collapse. Our people are all crippled by the having the grocery store there. So we have to get out here now and reactivate it.
Right.
It's in our DNA. We can touch base with that anytime we want to. I said, let's go. Let's give it a shot. And I began promoting it, teaching it, passing it around. I made courses of it, and I offer it to people for free because I always let them know the grocery stores are not designed to support this. They're not sustainable. In other words, it's not designed to support this lifestyle for forever.
Right.
You'd better learn to grow your food, and you
Right.
better learn how to take care of your farm animals if you want clean meat. I'm
Right.
not a meat eater. I mean, I eat some, a chicken, a little fish from time to time, but it's not, I mostly survive on fruits and vegetables. I guess they call us a flexitarian now. They have a million different names for all of
And
that
I'm gonna be
stuff.
honest with you, I'm not trying to jump on that wagon, but I am slowly but surely moving in that direction. So there's several weeks that I'll
Yes,
go without eating any kind of meat. And
precisely.
I just feel better, and yeah, especially when it comes to like when I look at my health and weight and blood pressure and all that. I mean, when I'm eating just vegetables and fruits, things just start to align.
Yes.
Like and then
I
I'll be
attribute my youthful look to having been vegan for 12 years.
right, right. See,
For
and that's a
12
testimony to me
years.
because you saying that because I wouldn't have thought that you were 58. Yeah,
Hmm.
I would have said that you maybe 40, maybe early 40s, but not 58.
We'll take
And
that too.
yeah, 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 yeah. No, I think that's yeah. You look great. So, and when it comes to age, it's just a number. I mean, when you have that vibrance that you radiate and you smile and everything like that, and just how you project and carry yourself, your mannerisms, it's youthful, very youthful. And it's amazing with the touch of wisdom, which is
Mhm.
they incorporate that with being they connect that with being having age. So that's
Yeah,
only yeah. When you start speaking all that wisdom, I'm like, wait a minute. She I'm thinking that she's this young, but no, how she know all this? But yeah,
exactly. And I
and
appreciate that.
yeah.
This is why I'm proud to say, this system makes a woman ashamed to be 58 or 60.
Oh no,
And I'm like, why? I made it. Why
same
can't I
here.
embrace the wisdom that I have experienced? Why can't I embrace that and then pass it along? And in my wisdom, I appreciate what the wisdom of youth. I share it with them. I tell them that this is a two-way street. Talk to me about you too. I want to learn from you too. Talk to
Right.
me.
And I
You
listened
know?
to, and you know what? I listened to this, and I'm going to say this, share this with you here. But I listened to this brother by the name of 19 Keys, and he said, you know what? This is the way he
Here we
looks at.
go.
Yeah,
Yes.
he looks at age like this. He said, no, I'm in a new age. He said that age 21, that's old age to me because I
Thank
already been there,
you.
already been there. So that's old to me. I'm new. I'm learning things new. And this age, like when I'm about to turn 52, that's new to me. That's not old. That's new. That's uncharted territory. Already
And
been there.
thank you.
So these
And I
youngsters,
love 19 keys too. I
yeah,
love 19 keys.
love it.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, we about down
Mhm.
to a minute. So before we leave, can you just share a little bit of how can people find you? I'll incorporate the links, but you have any links? You got any websites? You got anything to share?
Website, oraclecenterllc.com. You can go there. If you have any questions, you can email me through that website, or you can email me directly at info@oraclecenterllc.com. Any questions about urban agriculture, spirituality, or if sometimes people email me because they just need to talk about some things that are happening. And it just happens that way. And I am in support of humanity. So I will do my best to answer questions. I will do my best to walk you through your journey. As long as I know you're sincere about growing, don't waste my time.
You heard it. Enlighten, Empowered, Evolve. Thank you, Trina. Thank you, everyone,
Yes.
for watching. Hit that like and subscribe button. Enlighten, Empowered, Evolve. See you soon.
Peace.